Hey guys, what's going on? I recently got access to Google Palm, and I wanted to talk about what makes it different from its predecessor, Palm 1, what makes it different than GPT-3, and basically show you some examples of how to use it in the Maker Studio, which you have to apply to get access to, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So first, Google has this information on their website about Palm 2. So Palm 2 is the successor to Palm 1, which came out in 2022. And Palm 2 is actually smaller than Palm 1. Palm 1 is 540 billion parameters, which is huge considering it came out in 2022. Whereas this one, it says it's actually smaller. And there's actually four different sizes of the model, which is very confusing. But the one that you're going to get access to if you apply to get access to is called Bison. And so they basically used some different techniques to train it than its predecessor. So even though it has a smaller size in terms of number of parameters, it seems to be more performant and it has much better support for multiple languages. And the context window is about the same. It's actually 8,000 tokens, which is pretty good. However, the output tokens is limited to only 1,000 tokens. So let me show you some more information about how to get access to it. In order to get access, you need to apply for Maker Studio. So if you just go to, I'll put a link in the description. If you just go to Maker Studio and apply for access, you should get it in about a week or so. And once you've got access to this, you can create an API key to actually use in applications. But they also have this like studio thing where you can actually experiment with different types of prompts. So compared to OpenAI's Playground, the UI is quite a bit different and a little bit confusing, but it's actually quite useful once you get the hang of it. So you can either do like simple text-based prompts with text bison, or you can do data prompts, which is basically just like making tables, or you can use chat, which again is bison-chat. And this one has actually a context window of 8,000 tokens. No, wait. This is 8,000 and this is 4,000. And I can pull up actually the exact numbers. I think they're on here. So text bison has a max input of 8,000, max output of 1,024. And in terms of training data, it was last updated February 2023, which GPT-3 OpenAI was 2021. So it's a bit more recent. And the chat, this was text, this is chat, is actually max input 4,000, max output 1,000, and again, February 2023. So let's go back to the studio and let's click text prompt first. So you'll be taken here first, and I have a prompt, I think. Can you explain to me the top K and top P in the context of LLMs? So we're going to let this run with the basic settings, and then I'm going to show you the basic settings and how to change them. So it's just basically going to tell us like how to control these variables when you're working with LLMs, which is basically just like these two variables just control like kind of like what the next token is allowed to be based on either a fixed set of options or a probability. So, I mean, I've read this before. I've done this prompt before here, so I'm just going to assume it looks good again. But you can change the prompt in here, and again, it's only text bison. You can change the temperature, which is a measure of how random it is. You can change how many outputs you get, so we only want one. They have a safety settings, which we're going to completely ignore because we don't care about it. But if you actually do, it's like a bunch of different properties that you can change, and you can change how you wanna block it. Again, I'm going to completely ignore it. Advanced settings is again top K, top P, and the output length that you want. And so one thing that you can do that's kind of cool, which is not in OpenAI, and again like the UI is kind of confusing, so to delete this, is you can put variables in here if you just want to test out one part of it. This is like a very googly math thing. Like I cannot see OpenAI doing it, but it's pretty useful if you're a developer to play around with this stuff. So instead we could say probability and run it. And so instead of having to like rewrite the whole prompt, we could just change this one word and get different outputs. So that's pretty cool. And if we want to put this in our code, all you have to do is click Get Code, and it has options for Python, JavaScript. And if you want to put this in the terminal, you can also use curl. And for JavaScript, you're going to have to like install a bunch of libraries on your Node.js server. But you can get there. It has all the code and the settings and everything. And so that's doing text prompts with text bison. We're going to take a look at chat bison. I have to warn you, this is a much worse UI than OpenAI. It's significantly worse. So let me walk you through this briefly. They're going to ask you for multiple examples here, where first the context is like the system message in OpenAI. So like you are a helpful assistant, if you're familiar with that. And then you're going to need to put the user's input and then the model's output. And they want you to put in 2 examples before you can actually run this, which is a terrible UI pattern. But instead of doing that, we're just going to use one of their templates. So we can say talk to a deep sea diver, and it will pre-populate this for us, and then we can run a prompt here and see what's going on. And there's quite a bit of latency. They say that these models can do 75 tokens per second. I haven't tested that at all, but that's what they say, which is supposed to be good. But yeah, this is pretty slow for some reason. I guess it's because they don't have streaming enabled. So that looks good. And then you can change the parameters in here, of course. And they're the same as the text model. And again, if you want to grab the code, you can do that here. So yeah, basically to summarize, to get access to this, you just need to go to Maker Studio, apply for access, and then create an API key, and you can start putting Palm 2 in your applications. You'll only get access to the Bison models for text and chat. There's supposedly like a unicorn model, which is bigger and more powerful, but you won't get access to it. I don't think it's publicly available. You'll see some models also that you can play around with, but you won't have access to them and be able to put them in your applications. Like there's a model on Palm that's specifically for medical information and one that's for cybersecurity. I don't have access to those, so I'm not going to show them, but if you do get access to them, let me know what you think. And yeah, overall, it's a bit of a messier experience than using OpenAI's Playground and incorporating these LLMs into your applications. But I think it's a good option. It's comparable to performance and accuracy as GPT 3.5. So I definitely test it out, check it out, and I'm excited for improvements that they ship out in upcoming models. So yeah, thanks so much. Bye.